Idea number 27 for Tier 1 in Honda. Again, some of these are thematic, so you'll hear an idea, and the next couple ideas or ideas later may be variations of that theme or idea. So with one of the themes Sean talked about was the idea of youth being obviously involved in these spots, but more importantly, as I veered it, precocious savant youth, youth that are so advanced it's comical in a dry way. So, for example, idea number 27 is where two adults, ordinary adults, are going and they are negotiating to buy Honda. The negotiation goes fine. Everything is honest and straightforward and simple. However, their young 10-year-old with them, let's say, is riding the very nice salesman at every point, almost testing the salesman with the most arcane vernacular in terms of automotive questioning. Is this 16 or 24 valves? Does the are the ESA safety standards and crash tests, like the most obscure stuff, and it's esoteric and it's just little pops here and there. So every time they're about to close the deal, the child is asking a question that obstructs it. And again, even the parents can't follow the conversation of this kid because he is obsessed with, and as I said to Sean, it's like the Jerry Maguire kid, if you think of that kid. But not smiling as much, completely dry and playing it straight. So that is the beginning of a little theme I call, the experts, but they are specifically under the teenage years. They must be. They can't be 5 years old, but they should be between 8 and say 11 and have encyclopedic knowledge of Honda and the competition. That's idea number 27. Idea number 28 is a variation of the expert salesman idea. A couple goes in, they are negotiating. However, this time the man, let's say, or the wife, doesn't matter, either one, every time that they get to a point in negotiation, the adult, there's no child there, says something very sophisticated and asks a very pointed, esoteric question, which the Honda salesman answers, but looks kind of odd like no one ever asks me, that kind of thing. So that happens a number of times, and even at the end with prices, it is you see this adult who's conducting the negotiation say these things, but he looks a little nervous, or she looks a little nervous as she's doing this. So while she has a command of this language and vernacular, she doesn't seem comfortable. So that's a little bit odd. How can this expert, not be comfortable? And basically, second 24 of the commercial, they finally shake hands, do the deal, and the salesman says, "I'll be right back. I'm just going to get this copied," or whatever, and he leaves the room, and the adult sighs a huge sigh, and see him, he puts his hand to his ear. He's had a small Bluetooth ear device in his ear, and we cut to his son or daughter at home on the computer, who has been coaching him throughout the entire negotiation, using the computer for pricing, for other questions. And the last line being, thank you, Billy, or thank you, Sarah. And it's like, no problem, Mom, no problem, Dad. And, takes off his headset and smiles and gets back to playing, Space Invaders or some silly child game, which would be very funny at the end. So that is idea 28, I believe, and it is called the ringer, or the Bluetooth ringer. Anyway, 28. Idea number 29 is called Wheels of Fortune, and it is, a little bit higher priced spot idea where you're parodying Wheel of Fortune. And it's basically simple, and they spin the wheel, and can I have an O, can I have an A, and the obviously, like with Wheel of Fortune, they'll have the mystery word there, but they'll give a hint, and you can do this a lot of different ways, but the most simple way might be like, the best in their field. It could be the clue. And we start off, with an N already being given or spotted or whatever, and the person, rolls, spins rather, and gets an O, buys a vowel, gets an A, and it's very simple, straightforward. By the end is I want to solve the puzzle. Honda, best in their field. Now, this can be done not just for Honda, but once you do this, you can do a number of other spots where you have this set already built, these actors there. Meaning you could do 12 of these commercials where it's like Accord, Civic, whatever the model may be. The clue is something you want to sell about it, like the number one selling car in America, or the longest, whatever the selling point is on that model. It's and the answer is Accord, Civic, or whatever. So again, it's a template for anything you want to do with it. But Wheels of Fortune, not a bad little pun there, and I think it's funny. That's idea number 29. Okay, I could be wrong or right here, but I'm going to try to start doing ideas in bundles because I figured it was easier to do these individually, but uploading them and identifying them and that's kind of a pain. So I don't know. I'm going to try to maybe do them in groups of 5, so it's easier to watch and easier for me to upload and organize them in presentation. This is idea 30, I believe. Talking cars, and it's again a thematic thing that we can do a lot with. Okay. Let's start with this one, okay? The first one is like these cars, cars driven into a used car lot and left there, and it's many different models, and it's all of the competitors of Honda, and the Honda is the new car brought in, and the human being leaves after driving it. Once he walks away, it's almost like Cars, the animated movie, where these cars all talk to each other, but we just hear the audio. We don't see any animation or moving whatever grills. It's just implied that they're talking. And so when the Honda gets there, he's kind of like, "Hi guys," and you hear a bunch of cars being like, "Hey, it's a Honda, whatever." And he's like, "So how you guys doing? Like what's going on here?" And like an older car is like, don't get too comfortable, boy. Some of us have been here for months. Barry over there has been there for 2 years. And it's like the worst car in the world. Let's say it's a Yugo or something is there, for 2 years. And then someone's just like, some girl car, like say like a VW Bug, is just like, don't be mean to him. He's cute or something like that. It's a good look at a quarter Civic. And someone says to the little VW Bug, like, don't get too interested, honey, because he's a Honda. You know what that means? And the Honda's like, what does that mean? And it means the old timer or some other car says, let's say it's like a Lincoln who has got like or a Jaguar that has with an English accent, and it's like well, for some reason, it seems as though the human beings prefer your species, your type, your whatever. Sorry, now I'm doing a French accent, but the point is the idea that some maybe arrogant upper crust car is saying that it's well known that no Honda ever sticks around long and gets to know anyone here at the used car lot, because as soon as they're dropped off, they're bought. So that is the point of the spot, that of all the types, and again, we can have a lot of fun with this, the Jaguar with the English accent, the Mercedes has got the German accent, these types of things are fun. And they go so far because they're not one spot deals. I mean, this is a concept where I could do 28 ideas off of this. So the Talking Cars idea, okay, that's 30. It's 31. Talking Cars at a workplace. It's a big lot of a megacorp, and as they're coming in, they're all talking like, "Good morning, good morning, good morning." Be like someone cause like, "Hey, I got 97 octane today, or 93 octane today. I'm feeling awesome," like they had coffee or something, and all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, who's the new guy or the new hire?" And you see this car coming in, and it's a Honda, it's Honda, whatever. And basically, they're like, one guy's like, one car's like, again, the Mercedes, the Jaguar is like, "Oh, it's probably someone new in the mailroom," arrogant. The fun cars, the other fun cars, like the pickup truck with the southern accent, is like, "That boy looks like he's an accountant," or whatever it is, And they're still trying to all speculate who this car belongs to in terms of the human correlation, and you see the Honda then drive right up into the front row where all the executive spots are and where the CEO spot is there, and it's empty at this point. And Mercedes, Porsche, Ferrari, whatever's next to these, adjacent to all this, to this empty spot, and the Honda drives right up and in to the president's CEO spot, chairman. And the person hops out, look good, a woman, man, whatever, who's the obviously the president, the CEO, does the thing, and there's a pause, silence, and after a beat, one of the Mercedes next to him, says, welcome to Megacorp, Mr. Honda. Like everyone changes their tune for the punchline, and it's like a symphony at the very end of everyone being like, "Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir." So everyone that's been talking trash and the whole time, it changes their tune because it's now the most important car on the lot. It's the CEO, the new CEOs. And so anyway, that's number 31, Talking Cars at Megacorp. First and 30 is Talking Cars at Used Cars Lot. Talking Cars goes to the next point in idea number 32, where basically they're actually a Honda lot. And at the Honda lot, basically, obviously, they're all Hondas, so they're all we're not going to make fun of any of them, but each one has a different voice, an Accord, a Civic, a Miniman, or whatever. And a bunch of new cars come in, and it's like, it's the new class is here today. And as they come off the line, again, it's like the used car one, except the whole theme here is that instead of it being a comparison between the fact that Hondas get snapped up and the other cars don't, it's actually a variation that says, amongst all these Honda cars, they learn that when to shine your best, to always be on test drives, to always drive politely as if they have control over it, very funny things like that, and that that they are, it's almost like the Marines when you get there the first day at Paris Island, and these Hondas, these new ones, are reminded of what they are representing. It's like you are to remember that you are a Honda and you are special, and to be a Honda is to be this and that and this and that. So it's almost like this pride issue where these young green brand new cars off the assembly line are being given by a car driving, if like sergeants usually go up and down the line of soldiers that are at attention. Well, these cars are parked obviously in a line and they're at attention, so to speak. And this car is giving to them, it could be a couple, it could be an Accord and a Civic, being like one being a sergeant, one being a general, depending on the nicer ones or the price points. But the point is, it is a funny tongue-in-cheek reminder of what's great about Honda, contextualized in a military sense, and that is the idea 31 or 32. So we have Talking Cars in the used car lot, 30 Talking Cars in Megacorp, 31 with the CEO spot, Talking Cars 32, which is in the Honda lot with the muster, if you will, of the new car recruits, quote unquote. And that's it. So that was a 7-minute 3-idea combo video, and I'll try it like that from now on. Idea 33, college. We're at a seminar. Well, this could go either way. We can do this as a seminar in college, or we can do this as like a kindergarten class, okay? And what it is a very old teacher who is very knowledgeable and smart is being asked these very profound questions, like, what is the meaning of life? And we don't hear the answers, but we have this, Socrates type teacher imply that he or she has the answers by going to the backboard and being like, the meaning of life is, and he starts to, and the voice trails off, and we dissolve into the next question, and again, it's another profound question, and we do four profound questions. Why do bad things happen to good people? How come there's these hugely philosophical, huge, weird questions? Okay, to which again he or she always goes to the backboard with the beginnings of the answer, and at the end of it, someone asks, how. Well, again, variations is what you can do here. You can say, why is Honda the greatest car the car maker in the world? Or variation, why can't anyone make a car as good as Honda? Um, why is Honda the only car maker that does X, Y, and Z? However you want to differentiate Honda in your message, whatever that is, whether it be specific or general, the point is that upon being asked this question that is not philosophical, is concrete, whatever it may be, and that's not my call about what that question may be, but as it's asked, the teacher goes to the board like he always does or she always does, and as if he knows what is the answer, and then at the end of the commercial stops, turns, is clearly stumped, and does not have the answer. And in other words, this he or she knows the meaning of the universe. He or she knows why bad things happen to good people. He or she knows the most unknowable things. But as to what makes a Honda, what is, for example, the one question I would use is perhaps, what makes a Honda the greatest car in the world? Because there's so many reasons that make Hondas great. And so it's as if that question is so perplexing to this teacher who knows everything about everything, but it truly stumps him or her. And that's how the spot ends with, indeed, why, or interesting question, or I don't know. You can, again, as I pitch these ideas, I'm always pitching thematic templates that if asked for, I can write specific copy for. That's not what my mandate is. It's to pitch these 53 ideas. But again, when you get into the template of what I've just said, you can go a lot of different directions. And that's a good, not a bad thing. I could give you the specific things right here, but the good news is that's a theme we could do on many levels for many different questions. You can do a couple spots with that theme. Okay, that was 33. So 34 is the back to the expert kid thing. Into the theme of 11-year-olds being experts, we want, again, I think if you did that, to go thematic on it. So therefore, you have that kid, I think it was idea 29 or something, who's helping the hardcore negotiation. But now for idea number 34, we have a service call where a person's bringing in a Honda for the service, and you have the kid who is badgering the mechanic the whole time he's doing the service, asking him, the 29-point inspection questions. Did you bleed out the brakes? And the mechanic, it's almost like a Yoda, Luke Skywalker thing, but the mechanic is not annoyed because it's a Honda mechanic. He's impatient and he's cool, and he explains that all these child's questions are almost unnecessary for this car. It may a thing may be at the very end where he kneels, crouches down, and says, "Son, what did your parents drive before this? I bet it wasn't a Honda, right?" And he's like, "No, that's how you learned all this, right? He'd spent so much time in the shop." And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, you don't got to worry about that anymore because your parents have a Honda now, and all those things are going to be okay." So it's as if we have this child who has been traumatized by not owning a Honda, his parents not owning a Honda. Now they do. Service is a cinch. He doesn't have to worry about it. But because he's precocious and he is, in a funny way, an expert about cars, he is riding the guy, making sure the car gets all this stuff. And then I think what would be a funny way to end it is that the parent returns from getting coffee or whatever, and almost like the kid snaps out of this savant stage, and it's as if the parent doesn't know the kid's a savant, and he walks in with the coffee, and immediately the serviceman gets up, and the parent's like, "So what are you doing? What are you guys doing?" And the boy's like, "The nice man was just teaching me how 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 cars how cars move, how an engine works, what a carburetor is, maybe mispronounces the word. In other words, plays dumb. And then says to the parent quickly, can I go get a gumball? And what walks out, gives a little wink to the mechanic, and the parent, unbeknownst to all this happening, is like, kids say the funniest things, kind of thing like that. Um, I know that sounds long. Trust me, it can all be done in 30 seconds because it's car up on the left, question, car down, question, question. 15-second mark is the mechanic saying what he says, talking about the past and the pre-Honda days, assuring the kid. By second 22, the parent returns, does the whole dumb kid thing, and it's a quick, fast-moving commercial, but it's funny and it will work. I'm telling you. So that is the service call of the kid. Again, onto that thematic idea, we have the fact that another one that is kind of an offshoot of the Bluetooth one is this idea that instead of waiting for the end to show it in terms of the surprise, we have a couple people who are negotiating to buy a car, and you especially it'd be funny if say it was a younger, like a 20 something, who's doing it, like it's their first or second car, who would naturally be ignorant about such things, and throughout the negotiation, or perhaps just near at the end of the negotiation, he just says, before I sign on the dotted line, can I just, I just want to make a call um, um, about this, and he makes a call. This 22-year-old says the price, says what he's getting, says what the features are, whatever, and you hear him. You don't see who's on the line. And you're just like, he's like, and maybe he asks one question or second question really quick, and at the end it's like, okay, thanks a lot. Okay, yeah, I'm going to do it, and hangs up, and the salesman, he's like, okay, let's do this, and the salesman's like, your parents, and the 22-year-old laughs and is like, no, my little brother, and we cut to, him getting off. The little kid was on the computer, obviously talking to his older brother, older sister, whatever, and again is playing with Xbox. And right when he gets off the call, says, Mom, can I get some more pizza rolls? Again, being a kid again, going right back to the kid thing. So again, totally different spot, same idea as the other one. Once you get into these themes, I believe once you like one, if you like one, I can develop dozens of variations. It's just about, it's infinite when you think about it, but it's a question of what direction you want to go. I like this idea of the savant expert kids. I think it's very funny. So that's that. I know we're almost up to idea 35 now. So.